So thank you so much for your time and good morning to you. What is your reaction to starting off the events that took place this past Sunday? Are you seeing more and more either complaints from church leaders saying they weren't consulted about the limited number of members attending service, or do you see more resistance coming from churches with complying with lockdown level 3 restrictions?
First, I just want to thank you for this opportunity. And secondly, to appreciate many religious leaders who have really accepted that we are in a war. That in a war, even the level of consultation is not as broadly as all of that. Because it is important that we pay attention to what is at stake. There are many churches which are very laudable and for which we are really thankful for their adherence to the lockdown measures as proposed by government. And therefore, we cannot make a blanket statement to say we are seeing a wholesale resistance at all. We had a meeting which I participated as an observer between government and religious leaders on Sunday from 3 o'clock until 5:30, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, the voices from different religious leaders was to indicate to government that everything must be done to save life, to preserve life. And of course, that must be balanced against livelihoods. And government in that respect indicated and thanked the religious leaders for their cooperation in these matters from the beginning to now. Now, of course, there may be groups here and there who felt that they were not consulted, but I'm very, very sure there has been a number of meetings which I participated myself and hearing religious leaders thanking government and supporting government and encouraging government to really assist in fighting this war to preserve the lives of our people. So there are people, groups over there, and I want to encourage them, please, let's cooperate, let's work together, because the instrument to fight and defeat COVID-19 is our ability to work together as a team, irrespective of where we are.
Right.
So that we can actually defeat this particular pandemic.
Prof, when it comes to the engagements and consultations that you have either participated in, witnessed, or even seen some of the outcomes and reports, what are some of the challenges that have been tabled by church leaders with regards to this lockdown?
Well, one of the challenges that was raised was one, that government should involve religious leaders more in areas where possible, even, for example, when it comes to the communication, this issue of communication, the resistance from people saying we cannot, allow ourselves to be vaccinated, and that there are a number of conspiracy theories out there, and that there must be a joint, concerted effort to communicate to the communities. And of course, government has taken that challenge. The second thing was that the religious leaders were even requesting that even if it's only 20 people, to allow them to worship. And government said, we'll look at that because this is the challenge. The increased infection of people is such that government must trade very carefully about some of these things. And of course, the third challenge was that churches would not want to be differentiated from any other structure of society, and they feel that they are differentiated as a special group, and therefore they need to be treated like any other group. For example, people who are going to the cinemas, people who are going to the restaurants, and things like that. Of course, these are matters that government will be seized with.
Right.
But of course, all in all, the religious leaders were really, really very grateful and praised government for the proactive steps that they're taking to save lives.
Yeah, I'm asking this, Prof, because, I mean, for faith-based churches, I can imagine it being challenging because they believe that their faith will get the country, will get people out of, this pandemic through prayer, through worship, through attending services. So I can imagine them feeling almost sort of prohibited from practicing what they believe could be part of a solution to ending this pandemic.
They raised that particular issue, which government said they will look at it. But all in all, once government has taken a decision, we must understand here that the role of leaders is to take decisions. In any organization, the decision may not be liked by those that for whom the decision is taken, but at the end of the day, part of leadership is to look at all the pros and cons, and at the end of the day, take decisions, and that's what you call decisive leadership. Because if you continue spending time on each and every consulting on each and everything ad nauseum, you may not even act. So the point here is that the differentiation, I think that maybe the distinction is that we are at war. People are dying every day. And of course, even the funeral parlors are saying, we can't cope. So the issue is that first and foremost is to stop this thing.
All right, we'll leave it at that. But thank you so much for joining us, Professor David Musoma from the CRL.